In the second day of Amber Heard's testimony on the Johnny Depp's defamation lawsuit, her body language is still the main channel to expose what she's really up to. Especially with some very strange details involving her nose that you're about to find out. Welcome back, my body language buddies. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the body language guy. And it would be great if you join us by just liking this video, subscribing, and hitting that bell. Let's get down to it. One important thing to consider is that Amber must have talked to her lawyers about what happened on day one of her testimony to adjust her strategy for today. And one of the differences can be seen in the following clip. Try to keep track of her blinking and her facial muscles.
And I thought he looked so handsome. And he seemed happy. And
Compared to day one, her emotional expression changed. Now her head is much more controlled and she's got all this happening on her face, rapid blinking and all sorts of contractions on her face muscles. Keep in mind this because sometimes a person could be exaggerating their facial expressions to make sure that if any real emotion slips, it gets lost in all that noise. Because, yes, regardless of Amber's qualifications as an actress, she must be aware of how to use her face and body to convey emotions. That's a possibility. So it wouldn't be surprising that since she's exposing the actual aggressions, she could be making sure to emphasize the story the right way. And that's why I want you to watch the following clip.
Bob. I'm so sorry.
do this.
I am so sorry.
She's recalling the incident of what Johnny supposedly did to her with a bottle, and she wants to convey distress. We don't know if she's got Botox, that's a possibility, but what's relevant is how her general expression has changed since yesterday. And we still don't get that full emotional contraction of the muscles of her face, even in such critical statements. Let's talk about that handkerchief or whatever was happening at the moment of this clip, when she might have been crying, even if nobody could see her tears, and she decided to, have a little retouching of her nose. You can imagine that she's not going to blow her nose in public. That will be gross, to say the least. So maybe she just wanted to fix a runny nose? But then, why does it look like she's inhaling when she has the handkerchief on her nose? I mean, doesn't that make inhaling more difficult? There was no shortage of jokes about any possible substances, such as, baby powder. But I think she was just using that handkerchief to not only just clean her nose, but also as an excuse to evade eye contact. Yeah, we sometimes see what we want to see, just like whatever Johnny's lawyer is doing here to express his opinion. It's no wonder that after day one, many actual domestic violence victims have come forward to have an opinion on their perception of Amber's testimony. Because you just can't help but feel that she's making things up on the fly, as you can see in the following clip.
He holds up this bottle to me, and I'm saying, did you drink this whole thing? Something stupid. Focusing on this detail.
I understand that someone can be nervous in these situations, but you can't help but notice that every time Amber needs to outline a specific situation, she begins to stutter. She doesn't give precise details and even mix up who had the bottle on their hand. Because it's confusing about who was holding the bottle. Was it Johnny or was it her? And that seriously hurts her credibility and casts doubts about she telling the truth. So maybe you missed this the first time you saw it because you were focused on Amber's body language. But let's watch the last clip again and try to picture the scene in your mind.
He holds up this bottle to me, and I'm saying, did you drink this whole thing? Something stupid. Focusing on this detail.
You realize that she said that Johnny had a bottle on his hand, and she uses a hand gesture to describe with body language how he was holding it. That's okay. But then in her recollection, in her mind's eye, she switches to herself. But she refers to the bottle as if it's still on her hand. Did you drink this whole thing? She realizes this and tries to correct the blunder, and that's why she does that gesture of, oh well, whatever. In fact, that's how body language works. Most of the time, it's not a single gesture that is going to smash a person's credibility, but a series of inconsistencies between what they say and what they express with their bodies. Of course, sometimes you just can't help but wonder, why do you have such bad vibes from certain facial expressions, even if they are just a picture? Just like this shot where Amber has all the gone girl batshit crazy boxes checked. And sometimes we can make funny faces if we are speaking and we get a picture taken out of the blue. In fact, that's basically my whole thumbnail strategy. But it's a bit different when you see a picture and you see the muscles of the face relaxed. That gives you a hint that the person was distracted, maybe in some introspection, and showed an authentic expression at that moment. Even so, I have my reservations using photos for analysis, but keep that in mind. I cannot stress enough how you need to be mindful of your own perception, just as this other moment where it looks like Amber was posing for a non-existent camera. Because it totally looks like she doesn't move, and there goes what looks like a camera flash. But there were no flash cameras in the courtroom. It was just a sudden change in whatever she had in her monitor right in front of her. But there's this other clip where she's desperate to make it seem like she's crying. Let's see what can you make of it.
I'm sorry. I couldn't breathe. Please.
Yeah, that's uncomfortable to watch because she looks like she's trying too hard. She's trying to connect with her face, but you feel like you're the one making the effort. Now, there is that clip where Amber apparently is scared of Johnny. This is something that I have to say. This is when you realize that Amber is a very bad actress, because part of the job is doing some research about how people react emotionally in certain situations. And when a person has been abused, and to the extent that she claims for herself, you don't lose track of your abuser. You learn to have your guard up at all times, because that's one of the things that you do to survive, plain and simple. So she been startled because she suddenly ran into Johnny. I don't know, Rick. Looks fake. Now, there are these claims that Amber stole a line of dialogue from the movie The Talented Mr. Ripley for yesterday's testimony. Well, this quote is fake. Amber never said those words, and I know because I checked twice. But then I began to wonder, why did someone make this claim and how did it go so viral? I immediately think about public relations stunts. Now, you might be asking, why would Amber be interested in this fake quote being spread? Well, it's no wonder that the hashtag Amber Heard is a liar has been trending. And a classic PR stunt to combat this kind of situations is that you plant a lesser bad offense in the public opinion. In this case, that Amber copied a movie script word for word. It goes viral, can be easily disproven, and it becomes proof that whatever people are sharing on the internet about her could also be fake. But at least we got body language to set the record straight. You can help me spot more clips to analyze, following and tagging me on my Twitter or Instagram accounts. If you want to refine your observation skills, all you have to do is download my 100 body language tips right in the description of this video. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas, and it will always be a pleasure, my body language buddies. Much love and bliss.